Today we can officially say that we are in the off-season of Classic. The population numbers are actually a little terrifying, and I gotta say, this is a new low. It's been 5 years since Classic World of Warcraft came out, and today marks one of the days where we are hitting a record level of low. And before you go into the tribalism in the comments of hahaha the copium, you guys, I play this version of Classic and your guys' version of Classic is day, I am gonna shock you a little bit here, because against all odds, Season of Discovery, of all things, has managed to beat Cataclysm. Or actually, more accurately, Cataclysm is dying so fast that it got to the point that Season of Discovery is in after a year of the life cycle of Season of Discovery. I am not even kidding you. Look at this, look at this. 88,256 population in Season of Discovery, and in Cataclysm we got 85,000. Now, this will come with many caveats. Actually, we're gonna do something that no man has ever dared to do before. I am committed to give you the highest value entertainment that YouTube ad revenue can pay for. And that's right, we're making a graph for about 10 minutes. It took me 10 minutes to cut it out. I don't know how to make real graphs, okay? What am I, some sort of grown man with a job? But anyway, as I showed you, this is the Season of Discovery graph. As you can see right there, the landmarks of Season of Discovery, so to speak. We got phase 1 right here, phase 2 right here, phase 3, the game freaking dies. Molten Core comes out, of course. Molten Core saves the game from certain death, and it kinda stagnated. Actually, if you look here, a little bit of positive news, I guess you could say. Blackwing Lair is holding up the players pretty well. We actually saw a little tiny bit of growth the last 2 weeks because people are finding more time to make ults. And I think that's the number one success of Blackwing Lair. It doesn't feel like it's a nightmare to get an ult going anymore, because if you want to do Molten Core as an ult in phase 4, you had to get all the fire rest to do it, because you're not gonna do like hit one Molten Core. That's a waste of your time. It is physically not worth going. The amount of loot per time that you spend is way out of whack in Molten Core. They really gotta nerf the hit mechanic to the ground. They really gotta admit that it failed. But anyway, now that you can get a bunch of ults in Blackwing Lair and it takes very little effort, also helped a lot by the fact that you can take extra people. So I can do, for example, I do this every week, where I just take a bunch of random people from my stream and I put together a raid in like an hour of 30 people, even though you're supposed to take only 20 people, but I take 30 people into Blackwing Lair because why wouldn't I? It's easier, and we just slap our face into the keyboard for an hour, 2 hours, and we're out of there, and it's awesome. Honestly, I enjoy Blackwing Lair a lot more than Molten Core. I know every other streamer ever hates Blackwing Lair now. They are not happy. That's not me. I am actually having a way better time in Blackwing Lair. This is definitely the second best phase out of all of Season of Discovery for me. I am loving it. Am I gonna love Anquirage? Most likely not. It doesn't help that I am very bad at the game, so Anquirage is gonna be a challenge. But anyway, I actually took the trouble to do something a little cooler this time, because this that you're gonna see right here is Cataclysm in scales. All these green bars are the same time frame as we are in Season of Discovery, but for the launch of Cataclysm. You're gonna see that the curve is very different from the actual curve that you can see in the graph here. You can see how it's a lot more pointy. Well, that's because it's up to scale. But if you actually zoom in here, you can see this very weak right now. There is a tiny red point above Cataclysm. That's right, Season of Discovery is a little ahead of Cataclysm, like I told you. It doesn't really hit you home until you do split view and you see both of them at the same time. Would you look at that? Cataclysm came out at the end of phase 3. Is very generous to say the end, halfway through phase 3, and one of the reasons that we got stuck in phase 3 and they left us to die in phase 3 and the game almost died is because they really needed Cataclysm to do well. They shut down all the Season of Discovery content releases to make sure that Cataclysm could prosper. I didn't really mind it at the time because I was playing Cataclysm, I didn't care. And what very soon happened is what everybody else did. I quit Cataclysm. I got bored of it. In my very honest opinion, Cataclysm Classic is, for some reason that I do not fully understand, a lot harder than private server Cataclysm. I don't know exactly what it is, if the raids are pre-nerf here and they were post-nerf in private servers, or if, I don't know, if I was better back then, definitely a possibility. But I simply gave it an honest shot for like 3-4 weeks and I was like, yeah, this is too hard. I am gonna be stuck in normal forever, or I am gonna have to play 8 hours a day to get into like a reasonable rate of success to actually do heroic, and I am not gonna do that. I am not gonna be farming gold for like 8 hours just so I can afford to do Cataclysm raiding in heroic. I am not gonna do it. So I basically got bored of Cataclysm and I quit, and as you can see, a lot of people took my exact position here. And you can see right here when phase 4 comes out and they actually disabandon us, Cataclysm starts to very quickly die. Look at that downslide right there. Oh, I am a San Medina thumbnail. Haha, get it? Seasonal Discovery recovered. It will never truly recover, but it recovered quite a bit from the actual all-time low that it had, and it actually now surpassed Cataclysm. Of course, that is not a fair comparison because Firelands is coming in November 7th. Cataclysm went 4 freaking months without any content. And after that, they only got one more tier, that's Dragon Soul, and kaput, they are freaking done. So they kinda had to stagger the content up a couple months, which is very true, very original Cataclysm feeling right there, no changes. They are definitely following the original Cataclysm release dates. And I am absolutely sure, no question about it, that Cataclysm is gonna get a rebound after Firelands comes out. Having that very obvious point said, because people are gonna say it, are we going to see a rebound that gets Cataclysm all the way up to its peak? That's very silly. That is very, very silly. Losing 3/4 of your audience in 4 months is not something that you can really recover from. And honestly, I don't know if you guys feel the same way as I feel about Cataclysm and Firelands. I am not gonna do Firelands. I might try it out in normal if I feel like it. I am not gonna give Cataclysm Classic a shot seriously again just because Firelands came out, because if I am being dead honest with you guys, I feel that I am even more behind now. The few people that are playing Cataclysm, they have been doing GDKPs for like 4 months, and that's probably most of the people that you see there. It's just people that are farming GDKPs to pay for their sub, which I would do if I wasn't a tank. And it may not be entirely rational, I get that, but I just feel that if I wanna do Firelands and get in like a decent group, it's gonna take me even more effort now than it took me on the launch of Cataclysm. I don't even think I got half the tier gear that you get in normal, and that's normal gear. Everybody's in heroic gear. And if I gotta go do Bastion or Twilight and whatever, or do the Firelands dailies, oh god. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's gonna take me more time to prepare for the raid than to go to the raid. And you might say that's the classic way. You like Vanilla WoW and you don't like this. I disagree. If anything, I am so freaking happy that I don't have to do these chores to do a raid in Seasonal Discovery anymore. That's why I quit Classic back in Classic Vanilla. In BWL, I actually quit Classic, which I am now loving BWL in Seasonal Discovery. And I hated it in Classic. Why? Because it costed me 6 hours of gold farming to get a stupid flask. I was playing the game very close to 8 hours a day when Seasonal Discovery came out because I was running 4 freaking characters through raids every single lockout, and remember the lockouts were every 3 days, and I had no problem doing that. But if I gotta farm gold for 8 hours a day, not raid, farm gold for 8 hours a day, I am done. Some of you Korean people might think that's a good game. That's not a good game. Screw you guys. And it was not this way in private servers either, not even in vanilla private servers. I come from Northdale. Nobody flasked almost. That was like unheard of back then. I mean, like if you were a tryhard, if you were like part of Apes, which was in my server, yeah, you flasked, I bet. But like normal people that raided and you were to join their guild or their group in trade chat, they never ever asked you to flask or to do any consumables. They never cared. And Cataclysm just feels like more of the original Classic with the same economy problems that are even worse and worse because of the token and the bots that keep creating rampant inflation, and I'm not playing it. I'm not doing that. If I have to, I will find a new game. If this is the future of Classic, I am not going to do it. And that is all to say that I really, really hope that we get Classic Plus on Warcraft Direct next week, because if we gotta do more hardcore or normal vanilla with the classic economy, I'm gonna bust my head. I don't know what I'm gonna do. The beta for Monster Hunter Wilds should be coming today if you are watching this video, and I'm gonna be streaming it. Stay tuned for that if you wanna play with us. I think we're gonna be able to play with the viewers in the beta. I don't know, it's open, you can check it out on Steam. I might jump ship to that game. I might jump ship to the new RuneScape game that is coming out in a month. I will play pretty much anything if it means I don't have to farm for consumables for 8 hours a day. This is ridiculous. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.